One day there was a knock on the door, and it was a woman named Sheila de Bretteville, and she had heard that I had moved there from a friend of mine who knew I was an offset printer. So she came and said she had a grant to start an offset printing facility or a printing facility for women at a place called the Women's Building. And would I consider working there and being part of the grant? So having no idea of what feminism was, having been to an all-women's art college where all the girls, it was a serious college, but it was, most of us had affairs with our male teachers. That was the course of the day at that women's institution. And so not having come from a feminist background, I didn't really know what I was getting into, but I was very excited about the possibility of having a place to work. So I had a boyfriend at the time who was a drummer who rarely worked, but he walked me down the many, many blocks, maybe a mile down Wilshire Boulevard to, where was it? It was the park, was it? It wasn't Alvera Street. And when we got to Alvera Street, you know, the world kind of changes there. It takes on a different language and it's a different culture. And then we hung a right off the park, and there was the Women's Building in what was the Chouinard Art Building. I knew about Chouinard because of Ed Ruscha, and he had gone to Chouinard, as well as a number of male artists from the 50s, 60s, 70s. And so, and this was actually in the 70s, 1974. And so we got to the door of we got to the arches of the Women's Building, and Buzzy, my boyfriend, took one look at the scene there, and it was kind of wild. In the middle of this kind of heavy Hispanic culture, there were all these women with very spiky kind of shaved heads, with t-shirts with armpit hair, etc., hanging all over each other at the entrance to this building. It was kind of like the gates of who knows what. And Buzzy said, "Cindy, it's your decision, but I'm leaving you here." And I'm turning around. So I took a leap of faith, and I walked between all of these women into the Women's Building. And I'll never forget that entrance. It was like, okay, it's a different world.